Is the mic there? You got a microphone?
You know, Ryan, now that you've had only 24 hours to digest the film, as we talked to you, any other observations, good or bad, from what happened Saturday?
Yeah, there was a lot of positives, a lot of things that were cleaned up from week 1 to week 2. Just looked a lot cleaner on film. You know, still obviously some mistakes made. There will be every week, and you know, but the good thing is that the mistakes that we made are self-inflicted and easily correctable. So be another week to improve. And like I've been saying, I only see this team improving as the year goes.
What was the biggest thing you learned about your team?
Resiliency, how we would respond to adversity. That was really the only question I had going into the season, is just when adversity struck, is how we would respond. You know, with the new staff, new faces in the locker room, you know, all of those things surrounding the program, and they responded the right way. And you know, it started the week of preparation, practice and meetings, and you know, trickled over to starting fast during the game, and then heading into the locker room and relaxing, but staying focused on the task at hand. You know, fighting through them getting back into the game and doing enough to pull it out on the road with a 5.5-hour delay.
You know, I'm not privy to the game plan or what Virginia Tech was trying to do, but Deion Burks has just 1 catch and 4 targets. I mean, I guess I was curious maybe why he wasn't featured more, or maybe he was just covered up.
Yeah, I mean, they did some things to make sure somebody was over the top of them, and just the way the game was called offensively. You know, HUD reads the defense and puts the ball where it's supposed to go, and so that was just a microcosm of those 2 different aspects. You know, Virginia Tech trying to do things to make sure that we couldn't, you know, blow over the top of the defense with him specifically, and just the nature of the play call and finding the right receiver to get the ball to.
Kind of just break down the plan, what the plan was for Hudson Card as far as running the football Saturday goes. I mean, what's the sweet spot there on calling runs, and how much would you like to see it run moving forward?
Yeah, you know, definitely there was an emphasis on having some design runs for him. Also some aspects of the run game where he's reading the defense and making the decision whether to pull it or hand it. You know, there were actually a couple times where, you know, I thought he could have pulled it and we'd have got some big chunk yardage plays. But this is also new for him and playing this style of football. But you know, it's obviously you don't want to have him get hit too many times. But you also want to trust him to go play football because he is a good football player.
And you know, Purdue's one of only 2 Big Ten teams without a turnover.
I did not know that, but I have been pleased with, you know, the ball security, and that was one of our goals going into the game was to win the turnover margin. Just to, you know, anytime you're on the road and in front of a hostile crowd like that, you know, you don't want to give them momentum swings by not taking care of the football, and they've been doing an excellent job of that so far.
Your depth chart shows Gus Hartwig atop the center spot. Can you talk about that and the likelihood that he will play Saturday?
You know, I don't know if he will play or not Saturday. You know, got to trust the docs and trust where he's at in the rehab process. But I can guarantee you when he's ready to play, he's going to play.
I know that Colgate and Western Michigan aren't role beaters, but Syracuse clearly took care of business against those teams. How big of a challenge is this? You know, obviously Syracuse beat Purdue last year, so you're facing a good football team here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you guys have seen the schedule. Like every week, it's going to be a good opponent, and you know, you can't fault Syracuse for playing, you know, Western Michigan and Colgate. Like those, they did what they were supposed to do, and so you watch film and you see both sides of the ball. You know, offensively, they know exactly what they're doing. You know, with the new offensive coordinator that was on staff a year ago, they've changed a little bit. But you know, how much is that is just the nature of the 2 opponents they played, and you know, will they get back to doing what they were doing a year ago? And then defensively, Rocky Long is highly respected in the defensive ranks of coaches in his profession. Runs that 3-3 stack, 3-3-5, defense, and brings pressure 50% of the time, and there's always movement up front. So that from a schematic standpoint, they do a really good job offensively and defensively, and we'll have to be on our P's and Q's going into Saturday.
How big was it? I know Max had a great game on Saturday, but how big was it for Garrett to go out there, get a catch on the second play, and just get in the flow a little bit?
No, it was huge, man. I was so happy for him to see. He has been busting his butt trying to get back out there, and he has attacked the rehab process the way you would like somebody to attack it, and so for him to get out there and get some live reps, that was good to see.
The importance, you talked about your defense in the shutout in the second half, but the importance of getting them in the third and long, so obviously that helps with the third down conversion rate. How big was that? You still gave up some big plays, but you had them in a lot of third and longs as well.
Yeah, I was proud of the staff's ability to adjust at halftime, and also the players' ability to understand situational ball and where their help is schematically and what routes they can't get beat on, and being more sound in our rush lanes, and all those things go together, and so they, as a result, played well, especially in the second half.
You talked about the importance of the pass rush in this defense, but OC being in the middle of that, how valuable is it to have a veteran, savvy football player there that can kind of control everything?
Yeah, it's hugely valuable. He's a athletic linebacker that can get sideline to sideline, and that definitely helps. And we were able to ignite him on a couple pressures to get penetration up the middle, and he made a bunch of plays for us.
In the first game against Fresno State, it seemed like Tyrone Tracy kind of stuck out in terms of the run game, and not as much did Mockney until he got that late touchdown. But against Virginia Tech, he almost got 100 rushing yards. Just what did you see in his difference from week 1 and week 2, and anything you attribute that development to?
Yeah, I think our offensive line played a lot better week 2 than they did week 1. Just being on the same page and IDing who they were targeting to get to the second level. So you give Mockabee and Tyrone space, like they're very athletic and have great vision and are hard to bring down. So I think it was a combination of those guys just getting more opportunities, and also our offensive line playing better.
Was Saturday what you envisioned this defense looking like on a weekly basis?
Almost. We're still not there yet. We still got some work to do. But you saw more of it. I thought we were a lot more consistent, made a lot more competitive plays, and played within the framework of the defense. And so you saw guys playing selfless and being more team oriented. And I thought Coach Kane did a good job of putting them in good situations and good spots with some of his play calls. And so I think we're getting close to it looking like we all envisioned it defensively. We just got to continue to keep working.
Upder has kind of flown under the radar for you guys with Dion and Max kind of getting the shine there. But he made a couple big plays, especially in the second half on Saturday. Just what does he bring to that receiver room?
Consistency. In practice and fall camp, I don't know if I've seen him drop a ball. And he's always in the right spot at the right time. He's been consistent and steady for Hood, and a guy that we can really count on to make big catches in big moments.
You showed a lot more offensively in week 2 than week 1. Was that changes during the week? Was that Dion's gravity? Was that simply you having the ball more?
I definitely think having the ball more, it allows you to obviously call more plays, right? So you have opportunities to have a little more variety. I also think Graham just had a good plan going into the game, and was able to get creative with some of his motions and formations to create favorable boxes, both in the pass and the run game.
You saw Garrett Miller for just a little bit. I'm not sure if he played after the delay, but anyway, he caught a pass. Just what you thought of Garrett and what the plan was for him Saturday and what the plan is moving forward.
Yeah, we're just trying to ease him back into the lineup, back into rotation to give him confidence. And anytime you go through a traumatic injury like he did, as much physical it's as much mental, just getting over the hump and being confident and playing the way he knows how to play. So we had a small package for him, and that's why you saw him when you saw him, is just when that package was available to us offensively, and he will continue to get more reps as he feels comfortable, and I'm excited for his season and his career.
Has your path ever crossed with Dino Babers?
It has not.
I gotta ask too, I'm curious, how much did your phone blow up after you got your first one? How many texts and phone calls did you get?
Almost as much as it blew up when I got the phone call from Mike that I was going to be the head coach. It was great to see the amount of support, but even more just it was great to see the guys celebrating in the locker room, and I didn't play a snap for all those that watched the game. So it's all about the players, and they pulled this one out, and they played well, and they prepared well all week, and I'm excited for this week and to see their improvement.
Did you play in or Sam in on the plane? Right back.
No, we're done. We're done here in that one. Probably for a long time.
Your first sellout, and then also first, I guess, night game aside from obviously the delay, kind of
Yeah.
playing in the evening. What do you kind of look most forward to that?
Just the atmosphere and the environment. I've heard from guys in the locker room just how crazy Ross-Ade gets and how special night games are here in West Lafayette. So to have an opponent like Syracuse, and to play at night at home, coming off of a win, I'm sure that the energy is going to be electric, and our guys will be ready to play.
How different is the mood kind of this week so far compared to what it was last week coming off that one?
Obviously the attitude, like guys were upset last week, coaches and players alike. And so you're happy. There's joy because you just won a hard game that you have to overcome a lot. And so like that, from that aspect, it's different. But the focus and the preparation is the same, and it needs to be the same every week.
What's the rule on the personal foul they called on Thieneman?
I was trying to get an explanation during the game. I guess he. Maybe the target was a little bit too low, or he arrived a little bit too late. KJ made a sack later in the game that was very similar, so I'm not sure.
Ryan, when was the last time you received a game ball after a game?
Never. It's the first.
Never. High school, nothing?
No, we didn't. The places I've been, we didn't really hand out game balls, so that was something I wanted to start doing here. And luckily, Mike was in the locker room with us post game.
I know you want to win a lot more, but just to get that first one out of the way, you feel like kind of the monkey's off your back a little bit now, and you can just go out and prepare and play football?
No, I mean, it was never, the goal was never to get just the first one. It's to go get them every week, and so I didn't put any added pressure going into week 2 with dropping week 1. It's just the preparation and the routine week in and week out is going to be the same, no matter who we're playing or what's at stake. I think if you approach it that way, you can be consistent, you can be level-headed for your team. And so I don't want to be up and down or put too much into or too less into any opponent or any week.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, Coach, thank you. Thanks, everyone.